Why did Stoicism survive when so many ancient philosophies vanished without a trace? Why did the words of a slave, a soldier, and an emperor travel across 2,000 years, while the teachings of countless other schools, once louder, richer, more sophisticated, simply disappeared? What kept this one lineage alive, while time crushed everything around it? Today, we live in a world full of noise, anxiety, distraction, ambition, pressure, and somehow, Stoicism feels more relevant now than it ever did in the ancient world. It has outlived empires, religions, kingdoms, revolutions, and entire civilizations. It endured fires, plagues, war, political collapse, censorship, and the forgetting of history itself. But why? What secret thread allowed it to survive? From a burned-down Athens, to the courts of Rome, to medieval scribes, to Renaissance thinkers, to Enlightenment scientists, to modern entrepreneurs and psychologists? What made this philosophy indestructible? And more importantly, what does its survival reveal about us, our fears, our desires, and our endless struggle to control what we cannot control? This is not just a story about Stoicism. It's the story of one idea, one rule, that refuses to die because it touches the deepest part of human nature. So let's pull back the curtain and uncover the hidden truth that still guides us today. The journey of an unkillable philosophy. 1. A city burns. A philosophy is born. Athens, 300 BCE. The world's greatest intellectual city had just suffered a series of catastrophes: war, political instability, economic collapse, and the loss of its empire. The age of Socrates and Plato was gone. People felt lost, scared, disoriented. Into this world walked a man named Zeno of Citium, a foreigner, a shipwreck survivor, a man who lost everything. He came to Athens with nothing, no wealth, no status, and yet he would plant the seed of an idea that outlived every empire from that moment forward. Zeno began teaching under a painted porch, the Stoa Poikile. He taught one foundational insight: the only thing we truly control is our own mind. At the time, it was revolutionary. Athens was collapsing. Fortune was unstable. Destiny was cruel. People needed a belief system that didn't crumble when the world did. Stoicism offered exactly that. A philosophy built not on what the world gives you, but on what you choose to be. And that seed took root. 2. Rome adopts the virtue of struggle. When Stoicism reached Rome, something strange happened. A culture obsessed with power, conquest, and reputation embraced a philosophy that said none of those things defined you. Why? Because Rome, despite all its strength, was a pressure cooker of ambition, betrayal, and fear. Every senator was one insult away from exile. Every general was one rumor away from execution. Every emperor was one plot away from assassination. Stoicism became armor. Not physical armor like the cuirasses of Roman legions, but internal armor, psychological resilience. The most unlikely trio became its champions: Epictetus, a former slave Seneca, a statesman navigating the brutal games of imperial politics; Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of the known world. They all faced pressure we can barely imagine. Epictetus was tortured. Seneca served a mad emperor. Marcus Aurelius led Rome through plagues and endless war. And yet the writings of all three reveal a simple, calm center. You cannot control the world, but you can control how you meet it. Stoicism did not survive because it promised happiness. It survived because it taught people how to suffer well. 3. How Stoicism escaped extinction. Many ancient schools didn't make it. Epicureanism faded, cynicism fragmented, skepticism evaporated, Neoplatonism withered. Yet Stoicism found ways to hide, survive, and re-emerge. But how? A. It became a survival tool in dangerous ages. During the fall of Rome, the medieval period, the Inquisition, the Black Death, and countless wars, people needed stability, not metaphysics. Stoicism required no temples, priests, rituals, or sacred objects. It required only a mind. You can burn books and ban doctrines, but you can't destroy a mindset that lives inside people's habits. B. It fit every era's psychological needs. To ancient Romans, a shield for power. To medieval monks, a discipline of temperance. To Enlightenment thinkers, a rational method. To modern psychology, a foundation for CBT. Stoicism survived because it adapts without changing its core. C. It spoke to anyone who suffered philosophies that rely on privilege collapse when society collapses. Stoicism helped slaves, soldiers, exiles, rulers, and ordinary citizens. Its wisdom worked in palaces and prisons, and that universality meant it always found new guardians. 4. The one forgotten rule. If we strip away everything, virtue, ethics, cosmology, logic, duties, we find one single principle that kept Stoicism alive: control the inner world, accept the outer world. This rule is simple, but it is not easy. And precisely because life is hard, this idea never stopped being necessary. The world constantly tempts us to believe that happiness comes from approval, success, status, wealth, or comfort. And yet human life in all eras remains unpredictable. People lose jobs, empires crumble, relationships end, dreams die, nature destroys. Unforeseen events rewrite our lives. Stoicism survived not because it was fashionable, but because the world never stopped being painful. And as long as humans suffer, the philosophy built to transform suffering will always return. 5. The modern revival. Why it exploded now. Why is Stoicism everywhere today, from CEOs to athletes, from therapists to content creators? Because modern life resembles ancient Rome more than we'd like to admit. Endless information, constant comparison, high pressure, unstable identities, rapid change, invisible power structures, and beneath all of it, anxiety. We're overstimulated, yet under-centered. Stoicism offers something rare: not escape, not comfort, not promises, but clarity. An anchor when the waves rise, a torch when the way forward is dark, a way to be unshaken in an age built to shake us. What does its survival teach us about ourselves? The question isn't why Stoicism survived. The real question is, why do we keep needing it? Why does this ancient rule, control what you can, accept what you can't, strike us so deeply? Because beneath all our progress, technology, wealth, and influence, humans still fear the same things: loss, rejection, chaos, uncertainty, death. We are still the frightened Athenians who watch the world burn. We are still the ambitious Romans who fear losing everything. We are still the medieval peasants struggling with forces outside our control. We are still the Renaissance scholars facing new ideas and new threats. We are still the modern person overwhelmed by noise, algorithms, and expectations. Stoicism survived because human nature didn't change. We still confuse what we want to control with what we actually control. We still let fear dictate our decisions. We still internalize the opinions of strangers. We still chase external success, hoping it will quiet the noise inside. We still resist the one truth we hate to admit: the world will never bend to our will. Only we can bend our will to meet the world. And in that truth lies freedom, terrifying but liberating. What Stoicism still asks of us today. Stoicism isn't asking you to suppress emotion. It's not asking you to be indifferent or cold. It's not asking you to avoid ambition or hide from life. Stoicism asks for something far more difficult: to live intentionally even when life feels uncontrollable. It challenges us to separate what we think matters from what truly matters. It asks us to build inner strength, not because the world is gentle, but because the world is relentless. It invites us to develop courage, honesty, discipline, compassion, responsibility, not as moral ornaments, but as survival tools. And perhaps that is why it survived. Because the world is still chaotic, because the future is still uncertain, because human nature still wavers between fear and clarity, because we are still searching for a way to stand firm. Stoicism endures not as a relic, but as a reminder that we don't control every storm, every betrayal, every loss, every twist of fate, but we control how we meet them, what kind of mind faces the world, what kind of character we build, what kind of person we choose to be, and maybe, just maybe, that is enough. Because one truth has not changed in 2,000 years. The world is unpredictable, but your response can be unbreakable. That is why Stoicism survived, and why its hidden truth still guides us. If you found this exploration insightful, give this video a like, share it with a friend, and subscribe to Timeless Questions channel for more deep dives into philosophy, history, and human nature. Because the questions may be ancient, but the wisdom is timeless.